Welcome to Financial Issues, where we help you steward faithfully by honoring God with your investments. Now listen in as we give you the practical tools and advice you need to become a biblically responsible investor.
This is Financial Issues, where we help you defund darkness and fund the light by investing with biblical integrity. Great to be here with you all today. I'm Seth Udinsky, Samuel Case, and your host, Mark Manila, with us today. Mark, good morning, brother. Grateful for another opportunity to do the show.
Good to be here. Welcome, everybody, and glad you're all joining us for the day 28 of the incredible Democratic hostage holding our government.
Yay!
I don't know how best to say yay or whatever, but what is going on with these people? Come on, get it over with. Grow up. Let's get back to work. Let's start paying people for what they're doing. Either that or voluntarily give up your pay. If I don't see the Democrats start volunteering their pay, so that they can sit in united with all those that they're keeping the pay from, then they're not real. All they're doing is posturing and playing and manipulating and holding the country hostage. So they're making fools of themselves.
Well, the record is 35 days for the government shutdown. We're on day 28. So if we reach 35, I don't know. I'll make
we might need to throw a party here at the ministry and have a little celebration, a giveaway or something like that.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, I feel really bad for those people who aren't receiving their pay. I know they'll get it eventually, but, I think that's really sad because sometimes people don't have the money sitting in the account to back them up. They don't have the reserve funds. In fact, that's one of the biggest contentions in financial planning is having reserve funds, having that moat around the castle. Yeah. And they don't have that. Some people don't have that are working for the government. And my heart's breaking for them.
Yeah. Absolutely. 610-363-1110. Grateful to have you all with us this morning. 610-363-1110. Mark, we got a lot to discuss today. You mentioned what the Democrats are doing, holding our country hostage. We're going to have a guest on in the second segment talking about something. Sam, correct me if I'm wrong with this idea, but it's Democrat dark money. Is that correct? Democrat dark money.
And he'll explain all what that means, what Democrats are using that dark money for. It's very nefarious.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, you say dark money, that's nefarious. You put Democrat in front of it, and it starts sounding evil and nefarious.
Absolutely. So,
wait, did I say that out loud?
Right. There you go. We'll take a look at all that, folks. 610-363-1110. Again, 610-363-1110. Grateful for each of you this morning. Before we get to all that, though, guys, let's take a peek here. Sam, interesting headline that you shared with us. It seems like Americans are feeling very confident about retirement. The question is, are they too confident? What do you got for us, Sam?
That is the question. So a recent Prudential survey of found that 9 in 10 wealthy Americans, and what that means, according to this survey, is Americans with $100,000 in investable assets are confident they'll be able to cover their essential retirement costs. But that same survey found just over half of those same people say they're actively factoring in things like inflation into their retirement plan. As a result, Prudential officials say, quote, people feel ready, so they're not taking the necessary action and plans now to start saving and leading into closing what may be a real retirement gap for their future that they're just not aware of. This comes as Goldman Sachs says retiree spending has outpaced inflation in recent years, and as a result, many Americans are feeling, pretty depressed about their retirement prospects. According to AARP, 1 in 4 Americans over the age of 50 think they'll never be able to retire as of right now, at least. So, Mark, I know you personally interviewed all of these Americans in this survey, so tell us, are they feeling too confident about retirement?
Like Santa Claus, I went to every household and interviewed everybody. Those numbers were like a ping pong ball bouncing off every wall as you read through them. 9 out of 10 are confident, 50% think they can't retire. I mean, all these, none of them fit. So there must be motives behind each one of these. For example, the one with the insurance company saying that people aren't ready and blah, 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 and they're not factoring in this and that. My guess is somewhere there was a byline after that. You can contact an advisor for help with this, So there might be some sales pitch linked to some of these numbers. But then again, there are a lot of people who do not, as we were just talking about at the beginning of the show, do not factor in things like emergency funds. And if they can't make it through 1 to 3 months without a paycheck, how are they going to make it through the rest of their life is what the issue comes down to. So, yeah, you know, I really think it's important that everybody should actively plan. God tells us to do that, but he also tells us to trust him. And those two aren't in conflict. What it really comes down to, and I'm going to give you the top secret golden platinum inside information on financial planning. Do the best you can as often as you can and trust God. Bottom line. That's what it comes down to. A lot of people are paying on their house, they're paying on their cars, they're paying for college tuition, they're taking care of the kids. They don't have a lot of money going into their retirement plans, but they have something. There are many that have no retirement plans. There are many that are just trying to keep the rent paid. So all these things, you do the best you can as often as you can, and then you trust God. And that's where it really comes down to, because our God is an awesome God. Our Father in heaven loves us, and he cares for us, and he promises to give us what we need and to help us through those things, to always provide for us our needs if we turn to him, if we walk with him. And that's very important, so we can trust him. We may not have the life that we see on TV or on cable and watch people flying their Learjets to land their helicopters on their yachts to have lunch with a friend, but we may have
you mean that shouldn't be part of my retirement plan, Mark?
Well, I think it should be for you, Sam.
Okay,
but
just for me.
For people like Seth and I, not so
That's
much.
Right. That's
plebes,
right.
You know.
Sam's going to rule the world someday, so he'll be all right.
Yeah.
But yet.
A man of wealth and taste.
Yeah. So the bottom line is, God has a plan for your life. You do all you can to honor him with everything he has given you. That's what stewardship is about. That's why I say stewardship is living out the truth of our salvation, meaning we trust God for our eternity, but we also trust him for our temporal, for our now. We do everything he's entrusted with the wisdom he gives us, with the strength, everything he gives us, we do the best we can with that and trust that his path for us is the perfect path. The only pain really comes to us, the real pain comes, the worst pain, is when we get off that path, when we start seeing something that glitters and we run towards it and end up in the briar bushes. So, yeah, there are a lot of people who will not retire with ample amounts of money, never having to worry or think about money again. There are people who will retire at a nice, comfortable life, and there are people who are going to retire that are going to have to make month-to-month decisions on how to utilize that money. But God knows that, and he'll be with you. Do what you can as often as you can. Do the best you can as often as you can. Put a little bit away. First, though, the very first thing I really want to suggest is you build up that emergency fund. And there's a lot of government workers right now who understand that. You put away money on a regular basis so you can cover 3 to 6 months of lifestyle in an emergency. Now, that's a rule of thumb, and I'd prefer looking at it another way, but that's a more intricate model that maybe someday we'll go into. But that alone would take a lot of pain off your plate in the future when things don't go the way you want. When radical socialistic Democrats decide to hold the country hostage so that they can get everything they want put into the budget and bankrupt our country, you won't be hurt because you'll have the money to hold on till the government gets back to work and is able to refund you all that pay. For those who may not be working for the government, you'll have that emergency fund, so when your company decides they're going to downsize, you now have time to find a job without panicking. That little moat around your castle is so important. And how does that fit into retirement? Very important. If you can put that away and you have 3 to 6 months, then you can continue putting it away in longer term investments after that and start developing a fund to help offset any shortfalls in your retirement from your 401k or other things. So it works very well if you can do it. So don't freak out. Go to the Lord more than anything else. It's go to your Father first. Let him know where you're at. Let him know you trust him, and let him know that you're going to trust him for the here and now, just not salvation, and that you're going to do everything you can with the resources he has given you, including yourself, to do the best you can so that you're not a burden, but that you become a conduit of blessings to others. For like right now, there are people hurting, and I don't know why, but when Christmas season comes, it starts tugging at my heart more. There are people hurting that need some help, and maybe it's you who God is putting somebody in your path right now to care for. And at this special time as we get closer to celebrating the gift of eternal life.
610-363-1110. Mark, I appreciate your words with that so much. Folks, coming up next here, Democrat dark money. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. 610-363-1110. I see you guys in the call queue as well. Make sure that you queue your call up right now. We have at least one line open, so you can get your call in right now. 610-363-1110.
Navigating through investment options can be challenging, especially when you're determined to uphold your God-given values. Every dollar you invest is a vote for the world that you want to live in. Let your values guide your investment decisions and help to shape the culture in which we live. Become a beacon of light and pave the way with biblically responsible investing. Timothy Plan, where faith and finance collide. Before investing, carefully consider the fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the investment company. This and other important information can be found in the fund's prospectus. To obtain a copy, visit timothyplan.com or call 800-846-7526. Read each prospectus carefully before investing. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
In a world where financial decisions can feel overwhelming, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters: our family, our faith, and our future. With financial issues by our side, we can invest knowing that our financial decisions are in line with our values. Take the first step today and become a financial issues partner to access rich online resources, training tools, and guidance for biblically responsible investing. Head over to financialissues.org and learn how to invest your money in a way that honors God. That's financialissues.org.
Preborn is making motherhood possible for thousands of moms across America.
I found out that I was pregnant. My family, they were like, no, you're not having this baby. I met Miss Linda. She offered to get me an ultrasound. That's where I very first heard the heartbeat. It was really a great thing that I was led to the choice to keep him.
To find out how you can support the life-saving mission of Preborn, go to preborn.com/FISM.
610-363-1110, folks, queue your call up right now. You got some time to get your call queued up because, Mark, we got a special guest on, brother. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this.
We do. Yeah. Scott Walker is with us today. Scott is a very interesting man. Right now we're seeing all sorts of things like these so-called grassroots, no king days and stuff like that. But Scott has some inside information here, some interesting information on something called dark money, Democrat dark money, that shows that these aren't so much grassroots as planned and financed anti-Trump rallies. And I really want to get to that. So, Scott, I believe you're with us now. You're in the studio, aren't you, with Seth?
He's not actually, Mark. He's on Zoom, but he's looking good and ready to rock and roll. So.
Well, hi, Scott. Well, either way, you're with us. Welcome to the show, Scott. Welcome to Financial Issues.
Great to be with you.
Oh, good. I was hoping you could hear me. I wasn't sure if you could hear me. Great. It was really interesting to be glancing through some of the information you put out there. I really need to know something here. Dark money sounds so kind of intriguing, really. I think nefarious is what Sam and Seth called it earlier. Tell us about dark money. What is dark money, Democrat dark money?
Sure. The term was actually coined by the left back in 2010 after the Citizens United decision by the Supreme Court, which said that nonprofit groups and companies and unions as long as they were not coordinating with candidates, could spend as much money as they wanted in politics. And the left didn't like this, and they used it to refer to a particular type of nonprofit. The 501c4 groups, those are on the conservative side, something like National Rifle Association. On the left, something like League of Conservation Voters. Now, since then, it's been broadened to mean more just any money where you're not sure what the origin of the money was, right? Because in politics, things often pass through 2 or 3 entities before they show up in politics. So my book is called Arabella, the Dark Money Network of Left-Wing Billionaires Secretly Transforming America. And the Arabella network, which we can explain if you like, but the Arabella is a network of for-profits, nonprofits that takes money from people like Bill Gates and Zuckerberg and Soros and Ford Foundation and spreads it in our politics.
Well, and that sounds so much like the mafia laundering money to me, opening up all these restaurants and never really serving food, but just putting monies in the register and putting them in the banks from washing it through, except from a political point of view. I heard one time where I forget which election it was. It might have been where Clinton said that she received the majority of her donations from under $10 donations, but then somebody traced that to like a half dozen organizations that were just pumping $10 at a time into it, automatically doing donations at $10 at a time, so it wouldn't be over a limit or something, so it would do that. I guess effectively dark money being laundered. When you have millions of dollars, you don't want somebody to know you gave millions of dollars, so you put it through this machine that donates at $10 at a time under false names or something. Is that what we're talking about?
Oh, well, usually the sort of thing you're talking about has the funny name of smurfing.
Smurfing.
Right?
Okay.
Yes, where it's not you have fake donations like that. There's mixed evidence of how much of that has gone on. It's that is a much trickier thing to try to figure out than because that would be regular political dollars, right? So-called hard dollars, because it is standing up in a campaign. That is different from dark money. Usually is used to refer to things in the nonprofit world.
Okay, so tell us about the dark money. How is it used to affect policy? How is it used to affect politics and politicians?
Sure. Let me give you the 30-second explanation of how the Arabella network works, okay? Because it's the biggest of it. On either side, left or right, it's the largest thing like this. So imagine a pyramid. And at the top of the pyramid, you have Arabella Advisors, which is a for-profit PR company, right? Beltway Bandit, as they're called. So it creates and operates everything below it in the pyramid. In the middle of the pyramid, you have a half a dozen nonprofits of different legal types, and that's where the money comes in, right? Again, if you're a Soros, a Ford Foundation, you write checks to those nonprofits, okay? And then at the base of the pyramid, you have what your listeners are going to see, and that is hundreds and hundreds of fake groups, but they all have wonderful names like Secure Michigan Elections, Floridians for a Fair Shake, Keep Iowa Healthy, right? They want you to think want you to think that your neighbors were upset about something and they got together and started this group, when in fact, it's just some doofus in a DC office who created a website and bought some Facebook ads.
That's interesting. So, and then these groups put these organizations together. How do they coordinate like these no kings? Obviously, the financing behind it helped, but how do they coordinate it across the nation like they did?
There's one nonprofit that is probably the leading organizer for all the No Kings work, and that's called Indivisible. It was set up right after Trump was elected the first time to oppose him in every way possible and to organize folks across the country. They claim thousands of local groups. Now, that's probably exaggerated somewhat, but the left is enormously good at this kind of organizing. They can have protests in 2,000 cities tomorrow, if it really matters to them, because they have this huge infrastructure. And remember, they're not like conservatives. Conservatives want to be independent-minded. Leftists want to be part of the Borg, right? They aspire to be part of the Borg.
Yeah, part of the Borg. Well said. That's the way it seems, and it seems like they're very good at doing it. It's something that I love the independent mindedness, but sometimes it'd be great if we could all get along on this side of the river and be more productive. So this is really kind of scary when the way you're saying all this. What hope is there if they can continuously just create more and more of these organizations as some of them get ratted out or the light shines on them? They just open up another one here, another one there. Is there any hope whatsoever for being able to get to truth on these things and exposing what's really going on?
Well, first of all, you're doing it right here, and you have to realize how powerful what you're doing, educating people about this stuff, is powerful. And that's because something like Arabella, it basically works on the Wizard of Oz principles. Think back to the movie. At the beginning, the wizard's
my favorite
big,
movie.
Scary. Well, there you go. At the beginning, the wizard's big and scary, and he really affects Dorothy's behavior. At the end of the movie, the curtain's pulled back, and all that power disappears fast. So what you're doing is pulling the curtain back. But the other thing I'd say is more broadly is I totally understand. In fact, whenever I give a talk, rattling on for a while about all what the organizations the left has and the money it has, because they're the party of the rich, remember. The most common comment I get is, "You really depress me." But what I respond to on that is two things. First, a couple hundred years ago, some backwoods colonials who believed in the principles of America knocked down the biggest empire the world's ever seen. Now, if you're really cynical, you're going to say, yeah, that was 2 centuries ago. Okay, well then right now, what is the number one lefty agenda item above everything else? Silencing you. Now, you may feel powerless after I tell you about all this money and organizations, but if you were powerless, they wouldn't be scared of you speaking. So, after the 2016 election, the next day, Google and Facebook and Twitter, they all were having the big meetings, right? Sobbing, like they blame themselves. And I agree, it is their fault, because by setting up those platforms, they let Americans talk to one another without gatekeepers, without censorship. So ever since, of course, they've been trying to censor and gatekeep.
They tried.
Yeah. Now, but they did it because most Americans mostly agree with what conservatives think. And if you let people hear both sides, most Americans will go conservative. So the left has a huge disadvantage. They're fighting reality, including
and
reality.
Truth, right.
Reality and truth, and the fact that most Americans don't go for their craziness.
Right, and we saw that with Charlie Kirk going to the colleges. Yeah, he got a lot of foul language, a lot of attacks and stuff, but a whole lot of those students started seeing the reality and truth about what he was saying, and they converted over to being conservative instead of being liberal socialists as they were being taught in their universities. So when we speak up, when we actually come together and start speaking the truth, hopefully in love, then that is enough to start impacting and shining the light on the dark money that's going on. And once we expose it, after we pull back the curtain, we then we start to realize that this is just a few men wanting more and more power and not so much a movement as it looks like on the ground. Is that what I'm hearing?
Exactly. And by the way, I love the fact that you said it's a few men who want more power. We need to go read our St. Augustine, right? There's more than one kind of lust. There's the lust for bodies, which is what we think of. But there's also the lust for power, libido dominandi, right? Domination, power, control. And people need to understand, everybody thinks if I had $1 billion, I'd be on my yacht, in the Caribbean, just getting the sun and drinking rum drinks or something, right? But apparently, for many people who have $1 billion, it does not work that way. They want more and more and more money and power.
Exactly, because that's when you don't have God, you have nothing. So all you can do is get more and more to try to numb that empty pain where Jesus is supposed to be us, where the Holy Spirit's supposed to be in us. The name of the book is Arabella, the Dark Money Network of Leftist Billionaires Transforming America, and it's by our guest, Scott Walker. Scott, thank you so much for being with us. Really appreciate that. Scott is also president of Capital Research Center, and his book is Wherever Books Are Sold. And Seth, I just, that
awesome.
left me with a good feeling.
Great.
Actually, not the ugliness the darkness that it started off with.
Mark, I think it's so important. Scott said, this is why we're here, folks. We want to educate you. We want you all to be able to have this information. It's great stuff. 610-363-1110. We'll be right back after this break. Don't go anywhere.
In the last 15 years being in ministry, being married, something that has been constant in our lives is Samaritan Ministries. As we've moved, we've had babies, we've had different things come up, we have just been able to rely on Samaritan in ways that we never really even thought about before becoming members.
Our heart's desire is to plant roots and be in a place for a really long time. It's how we were raised. We see the benefits of that, but we also see the open-handedness of being used by the Lord wherever He calls, because we just assumed when we started pursuing church planting, the quickest way to get from point A to point B is a straight line. And with the Lord, sometimes you find out it looks a lot more like this. And yet, Samaritan was with us through the entire thing.
We didn't have to look into, we have to change insurances now because we've moved states or whatever the case may be. And it's just been a real blessing to us in different phases of life.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Colleen.
And we're the Gen X.
And we're Samaritan members.
Not honoring way. Go to financialissues.org.
I want to make a point. No matter what happens, I'll always be there for you.
I know.
Folks, I hope you enjoyed that interview that Mark did with Scott Walter, and I hope you'll check out his book, Arabella, Democrat Dark Money, as well. 610-363-1110. Mark, we got some calls. Shall we get to a couple of these
let's
here?
Go
let's
to them.
We got Joseph. Yeah. Joseph is calling from Florida. I believe this is Joseph from Neptune Beach. Joseph, good morning, brother. You're live on Financial Issues.
Good morning.
Good morning, Joseph.
I'm very glad to talk to you. I'm glad you're taking over.
Well, thank you. That means a lot to me.
Thank you, sir. We have been members about 6 years. Our portfolio is doing well. We're income investors, and we were both retired before we started. We're about 15 to 20% up, so we're doing fine. The question is, one of my energy stocks is down considerably. They've cut their dividend considerably. I'm only yielding 2.2% now. I'm talking about E35. I'm just wondering if I should just sell that and cut my losses. It's about 15% down. It wouldn't be that big an issue in the overall scheme of things if I did sell it. So I'd just like your opinion on that.
Well, anytime somebody starts cutting dividends, that's a warning sign. And that warning sign on this stock, if I'm correct, and I haven't had time since you just called in. I'm just looking at an overview of it, but it looks like it's really heavy in debt right now. So as an income investor, that would be another flag. So I would agree with you. I think it might be a good idea for you to go ahead and move your money to something that has a stronger foundation, that maybe the steel isn't as rusty as this is, and find something that has a little bit larger dividend, maybe a little less debt. So I think you're thinking right, and I think you're on a good track to go ahead and do that. So I would agree with you on that, to go ahead and sell it and move it to something maybe more productive.
Well, that answers my question, and I thank you very much for your time.
Well, you're welcome. And thank you for investing with biblical integrity and glorifying God in doing so.
Joseph, always great to hear from you, brother. Let's go to Mark, a slightly different region of the country. Joseph was calling from the great state of Florida, and we got Dennis, a remnant from California, calling this morning. Dennis, good morning, brother. You're live on Financial Issues.
Good morning, Seth. Good morning, Mark. Mark, we are very happy to have you on board with the FISM and look forward to all the wisdom that you are going to provide to us investors as you continue on with the show.
Well, thank you very much. That means a lot to me. It's God's wisdom, not mine. Give him the glory if anything good comes out of it.
It's awesome. Hey, Dennis, I got to say too, brother, hey, thanks for calling early, man. I know you're on the West Coast. It's early for you, but man, this is great. I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Love listening to the show, and just been rocking it these last couple of weeks. So here's my question. So I'm going to be retiring from government service in about 4.5 months. I have about $600K in the TSP. And the wisdom that's been given in the past is as you get closer to the retirement, if you're a 401K, specifically with the TSP, you might want to think about rolling it into the S and G funds. Currently, of that $600K, I've got about 90% in the C and the S funds and 10% in the G and the F funds. With today's economy, how things are going, Mark, what would be your advice as I get close to retirement with regards to safeguarding what I have in the TSP?
Yeah, today's environment in the market is really non-committal. It's like six rivers coming together at once, and the turbulence is all there. One day we're seeing things jump through the roof. The next day we're seeing them pull back, and we'll see them pull back over here but jump up. We'll see the Russell jump real big one day and then down the next, and the NASDAQ. So we need to be careful at this time, and since it's such a short period, go to the conservative. Go to the C and G. I think the C is conservative, G is the government notes, right?
So the G is the government, the F is the fixed, the C is large cap, S.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got that confused there for a minute. Yeah, so I would go to the G and F. I would go conservative as you could go right now. And then when you roll it over, you'll be able to create a portfolio of an income portfolio or an income and growth at that time. Maybe if the markets have cleaned up and made a clear decision which direction to go, we could give you some guidance at that time. But until then, I think I'd be very safe. Go to the GNF funds on that.
Okay.
Yeah. And you know, doing that is not done out of fear. It's just prudence. Since you really don't have much control over the funds that they have in there. First of all, they're not biblically responsible. Secondly, you don't get any choice in them. You might want to just be prudent and preserve your assets till a time where you're moving out of that, and then you can invest them with biblical integrity to the glory of God, and pick and choose the ones that match and work for your life. So I call it prudence, not fear at this point.
Okay, yeah. That was one hot topic this last week and last week with how well are you able to sleep with your decisions? And so I just really appreciate that, and appreciate this is prudence, not fear. So that's good wisdom. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, and I think you will sleep better.
That's awesome. You know,
God
Dennis, that's such an important question. Mark, I'm glad that Dennis brought that up. I think we downplay sleep factor. I really do. I think your sleep factor is so very important when it comes to your investing decisions. If you can sleep well at night, outside of those of us like me, but if you can sleep well at night, you should, right?
Yeah, you can't blame that on the stock market, Seth.
Right. Seth, you were answering emails at 1 a.m. today, right?
I was up with Knox. We were having a great time, But
that sleep factor is so important because it's more than just anxiety and stuff in the market. Sometimes it's God tugging at your mind and your heart to do something to help you along your path that you're walking with Him. And we don't sleep at night. We might not know why, so we'll automatically do like the talking heads do, and they'll pin it to something. The stocks are down today because there was somebody in Idaho who saw a falling stock. They'll do something silly. We do the same thing with our anxieties. Instead of stopping and going before our Father and saying, Lord, are you trying to tell me something? Here I am, Lord. Please guide me. Give me clarity. That sleep factor is very important. I found in my life when I'm not able to sleep well, it's oftentimes more than just juggling too many things or falling behind on things and all the noise.
It's well said. Hey, Mark, I wanted to share this also. Dennis has served our country faithfully. Dennis, thanks for your service, brother. It's awesome, man. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
So cool. 610-363-1110. We got some lines open, folks, so join the conversation. 610-363-1110. Mark, the markets yesterday, they've been sleeping well, it seems. They're real excited. They're waking up every day excited. The Dow Jones finished up about 0.75% yesterday. The S&P and the NASDAQ both well over 1%. The S&P 500 hit a new benchmark. It was 6,800 points for the first time ever, and all three indices finished with new record highs. Again, becoming old news, Mark, as we're seeing. Seems like that's every day.
Oh, record
exactly.
highs.
Ho hum. Hey, absolutely. As of this morning, all three indices are moderately up as well. So that's what we're seeing here. Got the Ag Report coming, folks, and then more financial issues on the other side. Make sure to queue your call up now. 610-363-1110. We'll be right back.
This is Craig Haugard with your Financial Issues Ag Update for October 28th. Well, there's one overarching story driving the corn and soybean markets yesterday, and that was the progress that has been made on the trade deal front. President Trump and China are working out the details, but it appears there is at least an understanding between the two nations that a trade deal will be made, and it's probably going to result in a resumption of soybean trade between the two nations. In fact, the U.S. Treasury Secretary says there's a framework in place and a substantial number of soybean purchases will follow. As a result, December corn was 5.5 cents higher at $4.28 3/4, while January soybeans were 24 cents higher at $10.85 per bushel. President Trump said over the weekend that there are several other trade deals close to being done with several other Asian countries like Thailand and Vietnam. The news of those deals helped wheat to rally yesterday, as Vietnam and Thailand are among the top 10 buyers of U.S. wheat. Minneapolis December wheat was 3.25 cents higher at $5.60 1/4. Kansas City rose by 12 3/4 cents, closing at $5.40 $14.25. In Chicago was 13.5 cents higher at $5.26. Cotton futures also received a little bump from the Chinese news. The December futures ended the session 36 points higher, closing at 64.56. Livestock futures, on the other hand, had a rough day. December live cattle were $6.75 lower, $227.17.5 per hundredweight. January feeder cattle were operating with extended limits, and they closed down $13.75 at $334.42.5 per hundred. We continue to see aggressive fund liquidation in the cattle markets, and in the last 4 sessions, we've had 3 months of gain erased in the live cattle futures. We had December lean hog futures finishing 40 cents lower at $81.50 per hundredweight. Class 3 milk futures have had a pretty nice rally recently, but the market seems to be getting a bit overbought. Yesterday, we had November futures closing a single point higher at $17.86. This has been Craig Haugard with your Financial Issues Egg Update. We'll be right back with more financial issues after this.
Are you tired of the chaos? There are a lot of things that make noise, but only a few that truly matter. As a parent, I want to leave something that will last for a long time.
You invest $300 a month increase on unfinancially by the time you retire.
Not just an inheritance of money, but a legacy of godly values.
Here at Financial Issues, we want to help you grow your money, but our main goal is to help you honor God with the money that He's given you.
Invest your money in a God-honoring way. Go to financialissues.org.
I found out I was pregnant when I was 21 years old. For me, I was scared, I was shaking. They do an ultrasound, and that's when everything changed. When I see her heartbeat, that was it. We've seen the hand of God ever since we stepped into the pregnancy center.
To find out how you can support the life-saving mission of Preborn, go to preborn.com/FISM.
The opinions and recommendations expressed on this program do not necessarily represent the opinions of the station or any of the program sponsors. Additionally, all products or services offered by the program sponsors may not be known by the program.
610-363-1110. Folks, we appreciate you joining us on the show today. It's a great time. Mark, I'm loving your wisdom. I'm loving the conversation with Sam. We want all you to be a part of it. You know, this is a radio show, so we know there's thousands of people listening and watching, but it really is just a conversation, and we want you all to be a part of it. So the best way to do that is to call in.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Right. I appreciate those call-ins.
Absolutely. 610-363-1110. Hey, guys, we were talking about sleep factor in the last segment, and I've found in my life, I've met people like this, and I've even it's sad to say I've adopted this sometimes as my sort of sleep factor gauge, is to just kind of take a hands-off approach and say, well, whatever will be, will be. I'm just going to throw things to blind faith. Exactly, Mark. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And on some level, I think we should have that. I mean, we have as our anchor the confidence that God is sovereign. He's ordained all things to happen according to His will. But nonetheless, this government shutdown, interestingly enough, is forcing investors to kind of take that mindset of just letting things be what they'll be when it comes to their investing, or in other words, trading on faith rather than on facts. Now, faith is a good thing, obviously. Faith is a very good thing. But I think what this article is talking about is blind faith, just kind of throwing caution to the wind and putting money in wherever you can see it. Sam, can you give us the details for this? What's going on here exactly?
That's the question, right? Though, without daddy government's precious data, are we trading in the dark? We will ask that question in a moment. So writing in Market Watch, banking CEO John Baran writes that the government shutdown is forcing investors to trade in the dark, specifically when it comes to the jobs data and other things like that. I believe his actual title is "The Government Shutdown is Forcing Investors to Trade on Faith, but they need facts." And he writes this, Mark: "The first day of October came and went without new jobs data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and investors accustomed to dissecting every payroll figure were left flying blind." So that is the question, Mark. Are we flying blind now with our investing because we don't have the government? And is that really a bad thing if we are?
You know, the way that sounded, we could fly up to New York and go down to Wall Street and watch all these people that are just laying in the street twitching because of the withdrawal from data. You know, it just doesn't. We're not seeing that. I mean, yeah, we want that data. It does help, but most of the time we don't. Many analysts don't pay attention to it up front because, one, the numbers are wrong or manipulated, and by the time they get corrected, it's a month to 3 months later anyway. But yeah, we do like that data, and it does help us or make us feel warm, like a nice little cuddly blanket sometime. But the real data we need is from the companies, and those companies still post that, usually on their websites, and or they're still reporting to the major news outlets what their data is, what their numbers are, and those kind of things. So we're not missing a whole lot. And yeah, I really do believe there are some people out there that are having major withdrawal from this data. But it's just overly, obviously, you know, if the beginning of October would have came and gone and the world would have collapsed because of the lack of numbers, I would say, yeah, I guess we need those numbers. But we haven't seen that. How many times have we hit new highs this month so far in the markets? How much more money has poured in the market this month than last month? We're seeing things that it doesn't seem to be affecting the overall psyche of the investors or even the institutional investors at this time, because I think they got enough information to make good decisions still. So there's my 2 cents on it. And by the way, those 2 cents won't be worth anything pretty soon, because I hear they're doing away with the penny, which is another story that we're going to get to
nickel,
sometime.
Maybe.
Yeah. Stay tuned for tomorrow, folks, because we'll be talking about that a little bit. Interesting. What does it cost, Sam? Like 6 cents to make 1 cent, something like that?
Something like that, and then 15 cents to make a nickel.
Logic.
You know, not a good deal.
Well, it makes money to make money.
That's right. There you go.
Is that what they're referring to?
Literally. It really does. That's good. 610-363-1110. Folks, if you can call up right now, we might be able to squeeze you into today's show. 610-363-1110. While we're waiting, Mark, let's get to a question here. Dan, 52, he is got some great encouragement for us first. So I'll read this, then I'll ask the question. He says, FISM Warriors, you bless me every day. I feel like I'm hanging out with you every morning. I first spend my time with God, then with coffee, then with you, and my day's complete. Dan, that's awesome. That's a good lineup. That's great, man. So thank you. I welcome you, Mark. I'm so blessed by you joining the team, and I pray for you regularly. Seth, you're like a good brother, and I thank you for your faithfulness to the show, and I pray for you. Sam, I thank you for stepping up and bringing your God-given wit and humor, and I pray for you, brother.
Is that what he calls it?
That's right. That's exactly right. That's true. Sam's got it in droves. So here's my question. I need to tidy up my tracker. When you talk about no more than 3% of a holding, how do I calculate that? I'm the opposite of good at math. So just looking for a simple way to go through my tracker and check each holding and make sure that I'm good there. God bless you and keep you this weekend, give you rest, health, favor in Jesus' name. Dan, we appreciate the encouragement, brother. Mark, what do you have for Dan?
Well, a couple of things. One, I wanted to expand on something he said, no more than 3%. That's usually what we recommend for initial purchases, is no more than 3%. The idea of that is to keep the diversification wide. Now, that portfolio could grow. Each individual item could grow to 5, 7. But if it gets above 10%, it's time to start trimming and pruning it. So just clarify a little bit about that 3%. The easiest way to do this, to know what 3% of your portfolio is to go into the Partners Hub, go down to the portfolio tracker, and look at the assets you have in there. And if you have put them in and kept up with them, what it'll do, it automatically calculates, and I forget which column it is, but it's like one of the middle columns. It shows the percentage of your portfolio there. I'll say 3%. Hopefully not 45% or anything like that, but if it does, you know to start. Okay, so it will automatically calculate it for you. But if it's something you haven't done and kept up on and you haven't cleaned it up lately, then what you might want to do is just take a piece of paper, write the total value of your portfolio at the top. So that's everything you own in your investments at the top. And then what you can do is write the symbols or the name of each holding that you have down in one column, and next to that, the amount or the value of that. So then it gets real easy. You divide the value of the holding by your portfolio value, and that gives you the percentage. If you don't like use decimal places, just multiply that number by 100%, and that'll give, and put a percentage side beside it, and that'll tell you what percentage you have in there. It's really simple. It's not that hard, but it's even simpler in the tracker. If you keep your portfolio tracker up, if you add in new buys, if you keep that correct, it automatically calculates that for you, so you can go in and you can just look down and say, oh, that one's at 14%. Maybe I need to start pruning that a little bit. Let's lock in some of the profits, keep a portion of that stock, but move some of that to another investment that maybe needs to be boosted or something new. I hope that helped.
Awesome. That's great, Mark. Thank you. Hey, we did get a call in here, Mark. I think we can squeeze Jeff in before the end of the show. Jeff's calling from North Carolina. Jeff, good morning, brother. You're live on Financial Issues.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm good. I hope y'all are well.
Thank you, brother.
Doing
Thanks
well,
for the call.
Jeff. Yeah, thanks for your call. We got about 3 minutes here. What can we do for you?
All right. I'll make it quick.
Oh, no, I'm not rushing you. Sorry.
Rapid Fire Tuesday. How about that? I'm 73 years old, growth and income allocation model. My RMD, I start taking it in December. I'm thinking I've been with you guys for 3 years, and holy moly, I mean, it's done so well in my portfolio. I can't tell you how well, but this is my question, and it's at a good place right now. Would it be a good time for me to start peeling back to just income? Because I like the figure it is now, and I'm just so blessed with you guys, and God's so good all the time. Is it a good time to maybe do the income model or just peeling back towards it since I'm 73 and
why don't you start a step at a time? Go with those bigger holdings, the ones that have grown substantially above 3%, and either trim them back or start selling them off. And you can do this slowly over the next 3-6 months, or you could do it all at once, whichever way you really prefer. But you could start with just trimming it back and transitioning to an income portfolio. It sounds like you would, knowing that it is you'll have a little less of a roller coaster going forward.
Right.
Okay. So maybe that's God tugging at your heart and saying, okay, we've developed these assets. Now it's time for you to get a little more in a preserve mode. You never want to be totally out of growth. You want a little growth in there to offset inflation. And you also want to be able to do this in a good fashion. I don't know, did you say this was all in IRAs, or is it in also taxable accounts?
It's all taxable. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So in the taxable accounts, you probably had some hits this year from some of the assets you sold off. So do it slowly, so you start getting into next year with some of them you're selling off, so the capital gains don't all hit in the same year. Bottom line of it, and move gently forward and sleep well with that. Okay.
That's awesome. Jeff, thanks for the call, brother. Sorry we had to run quickly, but man, please call back tomorrow, brother. That's awesome. Hey, Mark, I did want to mention this quickly. We still have our NVIDIA petition active. I do hope that folks will sign that as quickly as you can and send it to as many people as you can on financialissues.org. It's right there. make sure you do that.
Absolutely. We really want you to sign that petition and get as many people, because not only do we invest with biblical integrity, but we encourage the world to help these corporations turn around and do the right thing, honor God, and in doing so, help our society to grow in a direction that we feel free and comfortable with. And it's all because of you, our partners, who do invest with biblical integrity. God bless you all.
If we ever forget that we're one nation under God, then we will be a nation gone under.
Thank you for joining us. This has been an FISM production.